Hello, my name's Monique and welcome back to another video. I feel like I haven't posted in so long. This video that I'm making right now was supposed to be created like 3 months ago because I really wanted to talk about some lessons that I learned from 224 and some things that I wanted to take into 225 with me. And it has taken me so long to make a video. I've written scripts, I've tried to think of ideas of what to talk about, and I have ideas, I have things that I want to talk about, but I just haven't been able to put myself in front of the camera and talk. And when I did try to last time, I couldn't even say anything. I felt like I lost motivation, and just making this right now, I'm really thankful because I know that this was needed, and I feel like there's like a calling that I'm supposed to be creating right now, because I've been consuming so much like information, and even though that's like a good thing, I feel like I've been consuming too much and I haven't been producing anything, and I feel like that's why I feel like I've been lacking so much in life, or I've been feeling so like worn out, because I just feel like I've been consuming so much information, watching videos, watching reels, like every single day we are consuming information. Like right now you're watching my video, like you're consuming more things, and even though that's a good thing, you have to leave room and space to create, because once you consume too much and it gets all bottled up, then you're left with nothing to create. Like, I think it's beautiful to like produce, and put something out there. Once you put something out there, you will feel so much better, so much more fulfilled in life. I feel like once you start producing and creating and doing what you love, you don't need any more resources, you don't need any more information, you don't need to be any more smart, you don't have to get more better at anything. You have the knowledge and the resources already within you to start what you want to do and to create what you want to create. So don't feel like you don't have what you need, because what you need is already within you. You don't have to make people understand why you're doing what you're doing, as long as you understand for yourself. The biggest lessons that I had to learn throughout 224, because I was always like the type of person to not want people to have a misunderstanding towards me, or have any like misconceptions towards me, like towards what I was doing, or like to think badly towards what I was doing. So I feel like I would be the type of person to always make people try to understand. But when I think back at that, I'm like, whoa, because like I realized how much time and energy that took away from myself, because at the end of the day, everyone shares different perspectives, and everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And no matter what you decide to do in life, whether you're the most kind-hearted, genuine and loving person, or whether you decide to do the most loving things, or pursue something that you love, there will always be someone who will say something, have something to say, or share a negative opinion, or not understand what you're doing, because they don't understand, because they don't share the same perspective as you. Everyone has their own different beliefs, especially coming back from like their backgrounds, culture as well, experiences in life, and what they've been through and what they've been taught. Everyone shares such different perspectives, and there are going to be people who will not agree with you, not understand you, but that shouldn't stop you from doing what you love. It is not your responsibility or obligation to make people understand you or what you're doing in life. That's not up to you at the end of the day. That's not weighing on you. You do what you love for you. Don't worry about other people's judgments or perspectives. There's always going to be someone who will say something, but that shouldn't stop you at the end of the day. If you love what you are doing and you're pursuing what you love, nothing should come in between that, because your love for that thing is too strong. I know right now my words aren't the best. Like, I literally just felt like coming in here to really talk about just lessons that I've learned, because I felt like I needed to share this, and I hope that this does reach out to someone who needs to hear this. It really did take me a while to fully understand this though, but you don't have to make people understand. Fill your own cup up first before you decide to pour into others. I feel like this is a very big thing that I had to seriously learn and take into account, because there is only so much energy and time that you can give like other people before you're left feeling empty and depleted. There is only so much that you can pour into others before your cup is feeling left empty. You know, if you're the type of person, like if you're constantly pouring out your energy, pouring out your time to other people, always being like at service to other people, always helping people, and you're not getting anything in return, you're not receiving anything back, you know, your glass is going to left literally empty. You must fill your own cup up and give to yourself first, so then you're able to give to other people how you truly genuinely want to. And I don't think it's selfish either. Like, I know some people will say it's selfish, not in the sense of that. Like, I mean, I want to be able to give, you know, to my family, to my siblings, you know, to my loved ones and the people around me so much. But in order to do that, I want to be able to build myself up first and help myself, so I can be in a better position to be able to give how I want to give and help how I want to help, and still have enough energy, enough, you know, in my own cup for myself, if that makes sense. Like, it's about, you know, building yourself up so then you can be in a better position to help others how you want to help them. And don't get me wrong, like, I think helping other people and being at service to other people is a very beautiful thing, and it demonstrates so much about your character and who you are as a person. Like, since me and my siblings were little, my dad, you know, would always tell us to be at service and to, you know, always help other people, you know, when they're in need. Like, we always grew up that way, was to help other people, you know, when they needed help. And he always said, like, you may not receive anything back, you know, sometimes, but it's the act of being at service and helping other people, and giving, you know. When you give, you're not always going to receive back. And I do understand that as well, but I think that there is also a certain extent on how much you should be willing to give to someone if you're not going to receive anything back. Like, I think it's beautiful to like help people out when they do need help. Don't get me wrong, if someone needs help or something, like, yes, I'll definitely be down to help, but there is a certain extent, a certain line on how much you should be willing to give until you're left with nothing for yourself. And just remember, there were people out there who will give, and there are people out there who will take. You know, someone who is always trying to see how they can take and get things will never see how they can give. Another thing I really wanted to talk about was social media, because there have been a lot of things that I'm just taking realization of about it since not having it for, I think it's been like nearly 8 months. I haven't had like social media for, and this is not including YouTube, because I do still keep my YouTube account for when I want to post videos, and even though I haven't posted in literally months. I'm talking about all the other apps that, you know, I decided to take a break from. Most of the stuff that I have seen on social media and just in general, there is so much fake news and propaganda that is being like released like every single day. On a daily basis, you see so much made up stories, you know, like articles, you know, interviews, and AI is only getting more crazy and realistic. Like, some of it isn't, but some of it really is, and it's hard to like differentiate what's real and what's not. You know, I was just sick of seeing so much fake shit, and I really wanted to take a break from social media just to help better myself as well, and come back to myself, take time to myself. And I feel like it's allowed me to have a period to myself where I'm just sort of isolated and haven't like talked to people. I feel like when you delete social media, you do become distant with a lot of people and lose like connections with people and stuff, and that's something that I had to take into account. But I feel like what's meant to happen is meant to happen. Altogether, I feel like social media is just so toxic, especially like coming across perfect looking people all the time on social media. Like I remember in the past when I had social media and I would scroll like past videos and stuff and see like these perfect looking 10 out of 10 people, and find myself like comparing myself to these people like over a screen. With our advanced technology, like we have access to see like millions of other people, like millions of faces, you know, like hundreds and hundreds of faces every single day. And especially coming across like perfect looking people, you know, all the time on social media, then you find yourself comparing yourself to them and like asking yourself like why you don't look like, you know, these people. But you know, some of these people, they're using editing apps, you know, to make their pictures look flawless, you know, lighting enhancing apps or special cameras to achieve like really good looking photos, you know. So I think it's just really important to be really careful and aware when you're on social media, to not compare yourself and not to believe everything that you view and see, because a lot of it is fake. And I'm not saying like what everyone posts that I have seen, like everyone edits their photos and everyone does this and that. No, that's not true. Like there are genuinely beautiful looking people out there, but I'm just saying with how social media is now, you know, the extent that it has gone to, like the amount of things that people are doing behind the scenes that aren't revealed to like achieve these photos. There's more that goes into it than we know. And then like you try to take a photo on your phone, your photo don't end up looking like that. It just shows, like that's just an example. Like you shouldn't be so quick to compare yourself to another person, you know, because you don't know how much effort they, you know, put in to achieve that perfect photo. And even a lot of people even use green screen like behind their photos, or like, you know, just lighting apps. There's so much things that are available to use, you know, nowadays to allow people to achieve that photo. And especially also with like people always looking perfect in all their clothes, like everything fitting right, everything adjusting right. Especially like seeing celebrities and stuff, and you know, obviously a lot of these celebrities do get their clothes altered and fitted to specifically fit their like body. And just take that into account also when you're coming across people's like accounts and other celebrities, or even just normal people like out there, like if they're always looking perfect and everything, just like take into account like some of these people may be getting their clothes altered or fitted, you know, to make everything, you know, look nice and fit perfect. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes that we do not see. We only see the end result. We don't see what goes into it, like to get it to look that way. And don't go attacking yourself, you know, don't be so easy to attack yourself and judge yourself and wonder why you don't look like that, and wonder why, you know, you don't look perfect in all your clothes. It's because clothes aren't supposed to fit us perfectly. Even people who have had like BBL surgeries or like something like that, sometimes their clothes don't even fit them and their bodies are perfect. Like, you know what I mean? So just always remember, your body isn't defined by size level. You can literally wear whatever you want. Like you can wear whatever you want that makes you feel comfortable within your own skin, especially. And there are very beautiful people out there as well, but just because you don't look like them doesn't mean that you're not attractive too. Each and every person has a different perception of what beauty is to them. At the end of the day, everyone does like view and define beauty in a different way. Like we all have different lenses of how we see beauty, but beauty is undefinable at the end of the day, and everyone views it so differently, and that in itself is what's so beautiful. But the beauty standards are only going to consistently change, you know, like when you think about how they've changed over like the past, what, like 70, 80 years, to what the beauty standards are now, it's changed so much, and it's only going to consistently change. And you shouldn't conform to society's standards of what beauty is, because I think just being you is beautiful. You don't need to conform to society's standards of what being beautiful is, because it's only going to change. Just be you and love you for you. I really feel like that's why I also took a break from social media, because it really does paint this fake narrative and picture of how things should look like and how things should be, when in fact that's not true. And I feel like social media is also very toxic and draining, especially with scrolling through reels. You know, that's why people call it doom scrolling for a reason. Like, if you've ever heard that saying, like doom scrolling, when you're like scrolling for hours on end through reels. I'd find myself, like, sometimes when I had social media, you know, scrolling on reels for like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. If I'm not gonna lie, like, yeah, there was times where I would scroll on reels like for like an hour at the tops, you know, or like even longer than that. And I just think about that now. I don't even remember half those videos that I consumed and watched. Like, most of those videos literally felt like brain rot, because I was consistently consuming so much low content, quality content, and pointless information, you know, that didn't provide me with anything valuable, or didn't provide me with anything to learn of that, you know. At the end of the day, we are all consumers. Like, we all consume so much information in and out of each and every day. Like, even right now, you're consuming, you know, this video, my words, you know, the information that I'm sharing. And that's why I just feel like it's so important that we all, like, take a step back, and we take time to produce and to create for ourselves. So yeah, I just think it's really important that you leave room to create. You know, you don't need any more information, you don't need any more resources, you know, you don't need any more knowledge. You already have everything within you to create what you want to create and share what you want to share. I think one of the biggest lessons that I also learned throughout 224 was to keep more secrets to myself. I just feel like there are certain things that should remain with yourself and yourself only, and it's also just beautiful to have like little secrets that only you'll ever know and have with yourself, because it allows you to form such a stronger bond with yourself and deepen your connection with yourself. And I feel like it even builds your trust with yourself, because you're able to have things to yourself, you know, that only will remain with you. I do believe in evil eye. I do believe that there have been situations in my life where I have shared a secret, or like a specific goal that I wanted to achieve, and I've told like several people, and somehow that goal, or you know, that specific thing that I wanted to do didn't like turn out the way that I wanted to, or like it just completely flipped and went sideways. So I do believe that you have to be very careful with who you decide to share certain secrets with, certain things with, because there are people out there who do not have the best intentions towards you. You know, there are people out there who do not want to see you rise on top, and who do not want to see you win and be successful, or even happy, you know. So just be very careful with who you decide to share things with, who you decide to allow into your life, because there are people out there who will act happy and who will act like they want to see you win, but behind your back, behind closed doors, they don't want to see you win. And these are things that I've had to really think about and take into realization. There are people out there who will not have good intentions towards you, so just remember that. But I really do think having secrets with yourself is really beautiful, because it does allow you to bond with yourself on such a deeper level, and it really does build your self-trust. Well, what I have noticed with myself, it's helped build my self-trust. Especially another thing that I really had to take into account and give more of myself this year was more love, and to treat myself with more kindness this year. So be more kind to yourself this year, and give more love to yourself, the love that you truly deserve. You know, I really realized that the love that was searching for is like truly already within me. You know, I'm able to give that love to myself, and that appreciation and that kindness to myself, and I know I have the capability to give it to myself too. such a high extent. Just remember that you are so valuable, you know, don't diminish yourself, don't attack yourself when you make a small mistake or when something goes bad. Be there for yourself, you know, be gentle with yourself, take care of yourself, be patient with yourself, and make sure that you're always looking out for yourself no matter what, and treat yourself like a friend, and just show yourself that you love yourself and give yourself gratitude for what you do for yourself on a daily basis, especially your body, for what your body does for yourself on a daily basis, the things that it does for you. I think it's really important to also say more positive things to yourself, even saying like affirmations towards yourself. If you don't like doing that, then that's okay. And saying it in your head, or just telling yourself something kind in the mirror, or doing something kind for yourself. So just be more kind to yourself this year and show yourself the love that you deserve.